Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Brooke. I am an intuitive Reiki master. I'm also a channel for the divine, and I am so excited to introduce the peace dealer, Michael. Welcome. I am so happy to have you here with me today.
I'm glad to be here today, and my mind just blew right now because I happened to think about where the moon was, and then I just realized who I'm speaking to, and I didn't even realize that the transits worked out the way they are right now. I just kind of had a light bulb moment. So
Do share.
so I realized that the moon is in Leo and the sun is in Virgo.
And my progressed chart is moon in Leo. My ascendant is 0 degrees Virgo.
Oh, okay. So you were Leo rising, and it's exactly opposite your sun and moon right now. I thought that was like mind blowing. I just didn't think about that until right now when we started. I was like, wow, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So you did a reading for me January 9th, 2021. It was right after January 6th.
So it was last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had warned me within a year and a half that things were going to start kind of progressing and get a little bit stronger and all that good stuff. And it's been mind blowing at how accurate that reading truly was.
Would you say it's in a way where it's like maybe you pick up a little bit more every time you hear it, or it's like more accurate now than when you heard it before?
It's more accurate now than when I heard it the first time.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, because you had told me that things were really going to start changing over the next year to year and a half. And now as we get closer to the Virgo new moon, it's kind of like everything that you were speaking about then is now coming into fruition.
Nice.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, I got chills all over me. It was an amazing reading. And yeah.
Very grateful.
Yeah. All right. So what would you like to share with me?
Well, right now, I want to just make sure I got your rising right.
I am a 26 degrees Cancer.
Oh, Cancer rising. There we go. I just followed you back. Okay. High Priestess vibes.
Yeah, big time. Which I didn't really understand it until recently. I do love all your posts that you share, breaking down the different zodiacs, breaking down the different energies of what each one represents when it's your sun, moon, rising, and your magical moon messages have been a saving grace in helping me to develop my AKA superpowers.
That's awesome. And actually, it's crazy because I'm literally looking at my computer and it's saying rain is coming and it's going to start soon.
Wow.
Well, now I know why it's raining. Because it's just so strange. Like, it doesn't rain ever.
No.
So with this much frequency. But I didn't know it was raining all across, like in Arizona and Utah too. That's wild.
Yeah, it started. I actually went to Don't Trip the 1st of June, and that was kind of when my guides started showing me, but I wasn't really picking up the connections. It wasn't until the 3rd time it happened that I was like, holy smokes. Okay. So everything that the peace dealer is saying about our superpowers and honing them in, this is my gift to humanity. This is how I'm of service, because there's so much drought in the West right now.
I know you mentioned water healing. There's been rumors of water shortages that are supposed to be happening. So
Yeah. And I feel like that's intentional.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if they stop the flow and you can bring it from the sky, you can kind of get around that, you know?
Yeah. Even though collecting rainwater is illegal, apparently.
Is it illegal where you're at or across the board?
I saw this on the internet, so I don't know how true it is, but apparently it's illegal to collect rainwater. Let's see. Catching rainwater in Nevada is illegal, but could be up for no, Nevada law states that collecting rainwater with any type of rain catching systems, whether it's a rain barrel or even a bucket, is illegal. That's crazy.
Stop it.
Even the state engineer believes the law should change. So I guess they might change it, but it's actually illegal. Again, and they said unless such a permit is obtained, the water belongs to the public. That's so interesting.
Well, you know, in California, I have been following some stories about people building wells. They're kind of like, okay, we're just going to build wells. We're going to get our own water supply. And in California, they're trying to pass laws to still charge them for the usage of the water that's
What?
free from the ground. Yeah, people are not happy about it at all. And, you know, how do you control, you know, a civilization? Food, water, oil, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely been a huge, I don't want to say battle, but it kind of is a battle.
Yeah, it is. Definitely is.
Mm-hmm.
On many different fronts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think maybe that emphasis on water is going to be more focused on, and that might be the most significant one, because I mean we definitely all need water more than even food. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think that water uh how much diseases or anything is being put in the water we drink and we don't know. And I didn't think how easily it would be to wipe out a lot of people using water if anyone really wanted to too.
Uh-huh.
They needed to. So that's just
It's,
giving need. That's
yeah.
loud.
Yeah, it's almost scary when you think about it in that perspective, you know. One of my best friends, she actually runs a like the water plant for the entire county in Tennessee. And there is a lot, like, I mean, this connects back to, you know, homeland security and being able to protect the water supply.
Yeah, if in case anyone wanted it. Oh, that's so true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and her and I have talked about this before, and she was like, you know, really, that would be the easiest way
Oh,
to
yeah, that's true.
attack. So it does make me feel good knowing that there's things in place to prevent that. As long as everybody's on the good side, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, just the fact that we really may never know. It goes to show how much faith we all have in just living life, to just kind of like take certain things for whatever
For granted.
for granted as well too. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I have resisted being out here. I have twin boys that are finishing up high school. They got a year and a half to go. And I really wanted to be close to them, but you know, I have to be where I'm called to be at this moment. And it's been really hard to step into that role, because obviously I'm a mother first and foremost. At the same token, you know, how do we help humanity through this crazy time? I mean, they're hitting us with every single aspect possible: water, food, oil, disease, literally
Everything. Yeah.
everything.
Mhm.
Mhm. So I've had to fully just surrender and say, okay, this is where I'm meant to be, and make the best of it.
And you know, the coolest thing too is we're still subtly and not so subtly being guided and guiding. So I think the coolest thing is, like, as things like now clear through that fog and mist, we can see what everyone has been doing while there's been this just fog of deception and mud and messiness.
Mhm.
uh Despite, you know, the lights along the way, where it's like we're in this period of darkness that we'll soon be out of, thankfully. But it's weird because everything's gonna happen over the next 2 years. So
Yeah, what do you see happening?
um you know what, I wouldn't have been confident to say this before, but I'd say everything imaginable, but most notably full scale war, maybe in a more economic and digital way, definitely culturally too, before it even gets like I feel like if there was any military war, I think that would be so quick. Might even be the quickest war we've ever seen. But
I don't see military war, only because I have been, you know, boots on the ground for the last going on 3 years, and the war has been happening that long.
mhm. Some like behind the scenes, like what's not being reported. So I feel like by the time it's reported, like everything's already kind of happened that was supposed to happen. So if anything, that might even just be fabricated. Maybe that's just like a show,
Mhm.
just to tell the people. Because, you know, especially when they report that, there's always what the people in those lands say, and they always like censor that, or they suppress that, or you never really get to, unless people have relatives there and they say, oh, that's, you know. But it is what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And being from Tennessee, Tennessee has kind of been ground zero for a lot of it, which has been interesting to see, being that close to it. You know, December 25th, 2020, a bomb went off downtown Nashville to
Wow.
blow up the servers connected to the election.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And what was wild was Taylor Swift had sent out a tweet: I love you guys. Avoid downtown Nashville today at all possible. And then the bomb went off.
That's crazy.
Nobody was down there. And then when you went back to look at the tweet, it was gone. She deleted it. So she only left it up long enough for people to see the warning, and then took it off.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess she
Mhm.
got like forewarning or something like that.
Yes,
Or maybe she's
yes,
doing something. Who knows?
yes. So that right there showed me, hey, everybody thinks that this big war is going to happen. That war's already been going on. We literally have been fighting each other.
No, that's literally it. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah,
you got to ask who and what are the people and um influences that benefit, get paid, and gain from these people fighting each other, which ironically are the same people purporting these narratives.
exactly. And the same people that's going after Trump, too.
I mean, they have to, though.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
They
Yeah.
don't have a choice, which is kind of interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. I just think it's amazing how obvious they kind of have to, or they're making it. It's like they're not even trying to hide it.
Well, and I wonder if it's not that they're not trying to hide it, or if the veil is just so thin, because I see retrograde seasons as kind of like how I walk through everyday life. You know, retrograde season is kind of like, okay, the veil's gone. You're going to see people for who they truly are because they can't hide it. And that's how I see everyday life, kind of, you know what I mean? So it just kind of makes me wonder if they're not, if it's not intentional. Do you see what I'm saying?
No,
And
that makes perfect sense. It's like they can't hide it. It's like, yeah, it's that I feel I've seen more than I've ever seen just in the past 2 years alone. And them being completely oblivious that people even see what they're trying to hide.
yeah,
It's very strange. Very, yeah.
yeah. It's almost felt like a very abusive, narcissistic relationship. Major gaslighting. That's not what's really going on, when in reality, it is, you know?
No, major gaslighting. I think we've seen more gaslighting in the past 2 years than the past 12 years of manipulation alone, you know? And I mean, the 2010s was ripe with the highest manipulation, even during Obama's campaign, not to make it political, but significant enough to mention. So I'm grateful because it really taught me and other people how to stand up against that type of manipulation. I feel like a lot of people have like you, like me, like we had the opportunity to really strengthen our own character by standing up for what we believe in.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been taken out several times. I am on my second account when it comes to my spiritual page. Like, I woke up one day and boom, I just didn't exist anymore. We're talking like my business, we're talking my personal page, everything that belongs, like all my pictures and my kids. They literally just took me out. I didn't exist. Just was gone out of thin air. No way to make money, no way to network. And it was just kind of like, oh, too bad, so sad you were on the wrong team. So figure it out.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I've still been very open, still been very vocal, but I've had to learn how to kind of blend in, still get the point across, still, share what I'm seeing, still share information, but maybe not be as bold as I was,
It's cool because they basically tell you and show you this is everything that you can do to get kicked off. So once now you know how to like say things so that it's still in their guidelines, but you're getting and we saw that happen a lot after like 2020, 2021, like people started to know how to say the words and they knew how to which is pretty awesome. But I don't know why I feel like it's all gonna happen again, but people are gonna approach it so much differently. Because I don't know if they can get away with that advice, which they probably can, but I don't know if they will.
I don't think they will, because things have been so obvious, especially the last 6 months. The last 6 months, it has been like, okay, this can't be covered up. This can't be.
Wait, let me ask a different question, because it's not about if they'll get away with it or not. That's not the question I want to ask. The question I want to ask is, do you think people will let this happen again?
Absolutely not.
Because they let it happen the past 2 years. So I'm actually worried that people will let it happen again. And I really hope they won't, because it looks like they're at their breaking point. But I mean, the reason why they've gotten away with this is we've had a history of just letting them do everything, like the past decade, century. So it would be nice to see people stand up for them.
So I was kind of on the same page as you until I discovered that 2 million families pulled their children out of the school system this year.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
So, and I got chills all over me talking about it.
Like high school, right?
No, we're talking K through 12.
K through 12. I heard about that, but I didn't know it was 2 million.
Hair standing up on my head right now.
That's actually iconic, and that's beautiful. I think that's amazing.
So that was enough to give me hope that if there's 2 million people in the US pulling their children from the school systems because they're going, hey, this is indoctrination. This is where they're getting us. We're not allowing them to do this to our children. That gave me hope that there's 2 million people taking a stand.
What this did teach me is that there is a lot more people who are awake than I could have ever imagined.
Yes.
It was very surprising. Like we still dealt with the people who, I don't even like to consider them sleep, right? But we still dealt with the people who believe the agenda and narratives. But I mean, so much people, like from different countries, ethnicities, like it was pretty amazing to see.
Mm-hmm. Yes. When they raided Trump's home in Florida,
yeah.
I got on TikTok and it was like all I saw was patriots. It was like the Red Sea had been parted. There was nothing but people talking about it, nothing but people protesting, people gathering around his home, celebrating, standing up. I was like, holy smokes. Okay, there is a lot more of us, but because we're all silent, we don't.
It's like a silent majority.
Yeah, we don't see them.
Right. And that's very key. I know the historians have made note of it in the Russian Revolution with the Bolsheviks, the minority versus the majority, and what you see here with the media is they're highlighting such a small minority with very skewed polls and inconclusive, research. So they'll say things are factual, but they're sorting facts that aren't even like conclusive or representative. And you have the media putting a magnifying glass on a small minority to speak for this silent majority, and it gives people the impression that this is what people think and say, and it's farther from the truth. Most of these people are paid actors and actresses, and it's amazing. It's ridiculous. It's genius, but it's ridiculous.
Right. And then I often wonder, are they even human?
That part too. Yeah, that's very true.
How many of them are, computer screen or computer animated? What it's CGI? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Honestly, they flirted with that. I really question, how do we know? Well, actually, that's what it comes down to. Barring any like experts who know how to discern this, I would say more than the average person would have no idea of knowing if what they're seeing broadcasted to them is a digitally altered image that could be, on a mixing board, edited real time. Like it's kind of like what I said earlier, like there's a lot of things in this life we just take for faith. I wanted to say for granted, but really like just for faith, like just to believe that, hey, this is what's happening, not because we know, but because we just trust that this is what's happening. And I think we've been taken advantage of for the last because of that.
I agree. I knew as soon as Matt, his last name starts with a G.
Gates.
As soon as he gave a speech at a Florida
Turning Point.
Was that the name of it?
I don't know. I'm not necessarily.
It was a college. There was a big meetup. He gave a huge speech and he was like, if you all really think Trump was playing about the laptop from hell, well, guess what? He was not playing. Right, here's the copy. We've already submitted this into
Congress. Yeah.
Congress.
That was that
Yeah.
turning point. That was that turning point.
Yes. And it was just a few days later, Trump was attacked. And I knew
No way.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. So I knew as soon as he started openly, like that was the first time that it had ever really been spoken about on a public scale with a mass amount of people. And then, just a few days, not even a week later, Trump's home's raided. I'm
not surprised because like he basically, they're also raiding his house because there was so many emails that he deleted. And, oh no, that's Hillary Clinton.
Right.
No, yeah. I mean, he did lie about, being in Benghazi. No, that was Hillary too. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. Yeah. What about the organization that she had in Haiti?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Nothing, like it never happened. I can only imagine if that laptop was Donald Trump's son, what they do, but like,
oh, we would never hear the end of it.
Ever.
No.
Ever.
No. And it just goes to show who the media is really supporting.
But like, there's people who, if you were to say and highlight these things, like, not that their opinion matters, but like it's astounding how many people can just see this line of rhetoric or logic as a conspiracy theory when it's like literally. And actually, I want, at the same time, I do like the fact that there's a lot more people now that are also aware of this too. I think I think in culture, for a while, it's actually kind of normal in culture to just assume the news is bullshit. But ironically, people still go to the news for like information. And the coolest thing is like we're at that precipice to where that'll never happen again. Who knows? Maybe like word of mouth, and like you get your news source from your neighbor, right? Not in a gossip way, but like or who knows? Could probably be it.
It was definitely a direct hit on our First Amendment.
Yeah, which, I mean, when are they not doing that? Actually, but I feel, let me know what you think of this. I feel like if civil war breaks out in this country, there's going to be a myriad of reasons, right? But like, if any skirmish breaks out, I can see close to or like right after midterm elections, I think they're coming for the Second Amendment. I think they have to come for the First Amendment first so that they can come for the Second Amendment.
Oh, hands down. So I'm glad that you brought up the whole Civil War thing, because being in Arizona, human trafficking is really, really bad here.
Because of the Mexican border?
Yeah. So cars are being... I didn't
know it was bad in AZ like that, though.
It's bad. Being able to tap in, I guess, to the collective on TikTok and following different women that are and men that are finding their daughters' cars marked.
What?
Yes. So they're marking cars with zip ties and plastic, like Walmart bags. So they're sitting in parking lots and they're watching women, young girls, children, you name it, get out of the cars. And when they go in, they're marking the cars to where they can't, when you go to get in the car, you don't see it. Okay. So then they have people sitting back, waiting on you to get in the car. It's marked. We know we got the right one, and they're following them. Okay. Wow. So I come across a gentleman that was like, hey, everybody that carries, this is a carry state, mark your car and let them follow you.
Oh, word.
So interesting that you bring up Civil War, because I do see that happening. And if it happens, that'll be the way it goes.
Right. Well, wait, as far as like as far as like carrying, okay, if they try and take away the carrying, right?
Well, I mean, if you carry and they follow you, you have the right to eliminate.
Right, absolutely. Oh, so you're saying if people actually follow through with that, they would try and like get at the people who did the right thing. That's so interesting.
Well, I think people are going to start taking a stand. You know that rumor or what they were saying, where the hunters become the hunted.
Yeah.
So I would see war breaking out that way before I saw war breaking out just amongst.
Well, that's another front too. So I felt like so the trying to take like federally, if it was induced federally, I think it would be the federal attempt to try and take people's guns at a state and federal level. But that what you said is also, I think, a more probable. I think this is how it might spark, and that might lead to the government responding to a takedown. And the thing is, what would happen if skirmishes popped out between civilians, right? People who are like, and then the government wasn't able to stop that, and then it kind of, you know what I mean? Like it's and that really is amazing because it might be centered around a sense of vigilantism. And what how much civilian policing is a person allowed to do, especially in a carry state. So yeah, these things might not be interpreted in this day and age, but yeah, I've always had the image of maybe a group of people rioting, which we've already kind of seen, and the government not able to respond to that, which can probably lead to a wider arcing conflict. Who knows?
Mhm,
Yeah. After I saw the autonomous zone, I knew it was possible.
mhm.
That's, even though if that was fake or anything. But yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell what's fake and what's real, honestly. You know,
Yeah.
there's been several false flags. It's like, okay, is this real? Is this not? Networking with people that are kind of like boots on the ground that live in the areas where those things are taking place has helped to be able to work through what's real and what's not.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Really. And that's really vital these days, which is why the only uh cash is king, but networking is key, because the people who have such an extensive network where they have hands on the ground everywhere, that I get the sense that's really what this preparation was for, with all these telegram groups or people utilizing this technology, and being in a way to do so
Mhm.
if technology cut down. And this is where the revolution really won't be televised, because as controversial as it is to speak on these things, especially, beings like you, like there's telepathy at these high advanced levels, and the ability to connect with a network, and
Mhm.
share experiences without the need for technology or to augment with technology. And especially if people were forced in a need to do that because maybe a bomb took out the ability to communicate, um, there's just this unexpected quality. And to also make more sense of this, so many people, in the way that technology is advanced, have to handicap themselves. If we think about 16 hours outside of the 8 hours they go to sleep. So most people, even people who don't like to be on the phone or on the internet, still have to be on the phone or on the internet. So let's say, nature reset itself, or something happened to where majority of people on earth couldn't use these things. Natural abilities and natural powers would just activate, because now they're not doing the things that were unconsciously suppressing it. And I think that might be a part of how a lot of people kind of awaken what was already there.
Yeah, I have had a lot of Pisces showing up in the last, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks. It's kind of like Pisces are just kind of starting to be all around me. And
Wow.
what's interesting is I will think something and they'll respond in a message. And I'm like, ooh,
Wow.
this is
That's kind of awesome. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
yeah. So everything that you
Wow.
said, I have actually lived and seen it. It's coming.
Like a cloud. It's like a Pisces cloud.
It is.
It's crazy because Pisces has done that to me too. So it's nuts. Right. Y'all are so magical that you kind of desensitized me to magic. So the reason why now, like, I'll see the most mind-blowing synchronicities and I'll just be like, I'm nothing surprised me anymore, is because growing up, like Pisces, like all sorts of Pisces just like blew my mind. Like, what the heck? Like, how is this even like it forced me to get out my head because I was be stuck in my head even now. So now I'll see synchronicities and it's just like, okay, I just feel trolled now. I don't know. So when you told me about the weather, I was like, of course you did that. Of course you did that. And my Capricorn was angry too. Like, see, now she's the reason why it was raining here. Let's see, Pisces always doing this. Is why I was making fun of Pisces on my channel. Like,
Hey, I'm just trying to be a good light worker and give some love to Mother Earth. It needs it.
yeah, that's true. I was glad to hear you were healing water too. That's definitely, we need that for sure.
Yeah, I have. And what has been interesting is where I have gone to do the water healings, the rain follows shortly after. So there is a big connection to doing Reiki with the water, using the sun, and just bringing that purifying, healing God energy back into our water source. We cannot live without water, period. Our plants need it to survive. We need it to survive. So it's been beautiful to see everywhere that I have gone to do a water healing, the rain has followed with that.
That's very significant and good to know.
Yeah, and Gabriel's really good to work doing that as well. Gabriel helps you to bring the rain in.
That's very significant too. I know in astrology, I know in astrology, Gabriel is 8 degrees Pisces. So that's dope that you're in that area in your chart, like you represent that. That's really awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I work a lot with Gabriel. I work a lot with Michael. Metatron has been probably the one that I work with the most. Metatron and San Juan. Metatron is really like, and what brought me to Metatron was, okay, I'm supposed to be working with children, supposed to be working with children. What am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? And then Metatron led me through human trafficking. And I was like, holy smokes. So, Metatron is there to protect children. Yeah, I do a lot of work. And that's really the main angels that I work with on it. Well, Raphael being a Reiki master,
That's crazy. I was just thinking Raphael and then you said it. That's amazing. Thank you. You weren't lying about the telepathy. That's probably how you felt when they were texting you and everything. Wow.
I was like, I was just thinking about asking you the same thing, but we must be doing our Pisces thing and just talking.
Right.
Yeah, it's been interesting to navigate telepathic communication, because at first I was a little, you can't do that. But the more people that I'm connecting to on a higher frequency, it's happening all the time.
The way I kind of experience it, and I realize I inadvertently shut myself off to it because it opens up this feeling of vulnerability that instinctually I don't always like, I guess, but like, it's like you can see the 3D and then you can kind of see like the 5 or 7D. And it's like maybe that person isn't aware of the fact that the way they're expressing their face, or it's like you see a higher state of the consciousness.
Mhm.
And it's like I'm trying to say what I'm saying without it being just a projection, but it's like they may not be aware that they're saying and expressing things in a way that speak to exactly what I was just thinking or
Mhm.
what I needed to hear.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
might ask them, how did you know? I'll be like, what did I know? Right. But it's like, but so I'm learning to kind of see spirit, I guess, or see that higher. And it's cool because in that sense, it's like instead of seeing things separate in 3D, it's like everything is connected or like one face. But I'm yeah, I'm not really seeing it like a Sagittarius or Pisces would see it. It's like it's just barely coming into. It's like in small instances, I kind of like glimpse it.
Well, when I was younger, I always thought that everybody could hear and feel other people's emotions.
That's real.
It was just a normal thing to be able to walk into a room and I could tell you what they were talking about, how they felt about it, da 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 da. And then when I started realizing it wasn't normal, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, why do I always know what's
Would
going
you say it also feels like this? Because I kind of had a version of that too as a child, and I want to honor because in my research I've really come to love the Pisces Sun Aqua Moon archetype because that really is like especially with your ninth house sun, like that really is like the peak or high level energy. And at such a collective blending, people like you and I feel into people's greatest potential. So
on?
it really does feel like they do know, and it really does feel like you can bring out that potential in them.
Hmm.
But it's always still surprising when it's like, oh wait, you can't do this. You know what I'm saying? It's not that you can't do this because you feel that they can, but it's like, oh wait,
It,
yeah,
it doesn't come as easy.
right. Or like you just don't really understand it. Where
Hmm.
it's like, oh, okay, I thought, like you said before, like I thought everyone kind of but I would say I won't say I felt that too at the level you felt that because I really do love that archetype you have because it's wow. But yeah, I've always kind of in my experience felt like it's hard to put into words, but like, okay, yeah, like you should know this too. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I was recording a reading that I was posting on my YouTube, and I had a huge synchronicity with you. I was actually talking about something that I'd heard in your magical moon message. And at that time, I got a ping on my laptop, and it was your email coming through, I guess, sharing something that you were advertising or networking. I was like, well, there it is, divine truth. He's showing up right in the middle of me talking about whatever it was. And this, to me, I'm like, everybody experiences life like this. Everybody sees
Right.
life
Right.
like this,
Yeah.
but that's not the case.
Okay, so I I needed to hear that because I felt like that was too good to be true. I've always wanted to believe that like and it's you really nailed it because you asked, is there something wrong with me? I've never wanted to believe that like we're just a few amount of people who have these experiences and no one else does, even though everything in my real life has kind of shown me that that's true. I've always I think I've kind of stunted my psychic abilities because and I don't know if this is exactly something, but I kind of play this mind game with myself where I truly want to believe it's like the Truman Show and
Mhm.
everyone is just pretending they don't have these abilities and that they don't see it, and it's like they're just kind of like hiding it or something like that. But I really do value you saying that because I know it is a true thing. I just never really wanted to accept that.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it goes back to the programming and the spells that people have been under because they don't believe that everything has meaning and nothing is coincidence.
Yeah,
For
that's true.
for me, when that happens, I'm like, okay, there's a wink from my angels, there's a wink from God. So I know that everything happens as it's supposed to. And when those things happen, it's kind of like they're going, hey, I just wanted to give you a heads up. You're going in the right direction. But so many people will say, oh, it was just a coincidence, and they'll blow it off.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So in most cases they do experience it. They just basically lie to themselves about what it is.
Yes.
They suppress the feelings their feelings are telling them about who the people they're seeing. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And that's been one big thing that I have really stressed to show my children, because I mean, one of them is a double Aquarius, Libra sun, Aquarius moon, Aquarius rising. The other one is a Libra sun, Aquarius moon, Capricorn rising. And they were born.
So they both have Aquarius moons.
Yeah.
Wow.
They both have my moon, and they both have their dad's sun.
Wow.
Right.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
So they can get really up in their heads a lot, which I get it. Okay. That Aquarius moon, like, you just kind of go out there. You're always kind of dabbling in another world and always kind of in your own area.
Eminem and Lil Wayne have that sun and moon, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Two of some of the greatest lyricists and all of them.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
It is. Yeah.
So I made a commitment several years ago that I was going to teach them that God is in the small details and nothing was coincidence. So every single morning that I took them to school, I would tell them, okay, we're going to call in our angels. We're going to ask for protection as we're going to school. And I kept it really simple for them, so they could see it and they'd be like, wow, Mom, how did you do this? And every single time we would stop at a red light, I'd say, okay, now guys, look around the car. And we would be surrounded by nothing but white cars. And I'm like, this is our angels going, you asked for us to be here. Boop, here we are. So it's very powerful to ask. They will show up. They will be there. And when you see it, it's not a coincidence. That is a direct result for you asking them to step in and support you. And they would be like, how do you do this every single day? Every single day, there's like, they're all around us. And I'm like, it's not me.
That's awesome.
It's not me. It's, I just ask, you know what I mean?
I used to think that I always used to ask, like, I want to communicate with you guys more. Like, I don't want this to just be abstract. Like, I want to have like, solid communication. And then I started realizing they never not communicate with me. I just perceived this little, and I just had to like realize that they're always communicating. I just have to see it. I remember one time I got straight scammed. When I moved to Vegas, I got scammed by a couple who took a listing from a housing site and put it on Craigslist. If I had a little bit of common sense, I would have known it was a scam. But I was just very, I was very I thought they were being honest, and I was very naive. So on the way to actually give them the money, right, or to go to the Western Union, I literally see like an angel number 44, and then I see like scam, you know what I'm saying? And in my head, it's like, it's almost like you're telling me like this is a scam, but I didn't put two and two together until after. And I was like, wow, like I really do. I always have moments like this where like my spirit tells me, and then I'm like, no, that's a coincidence. Like I can't look into it. And it's like, no, that's basically what it was. So this is learning to really like listen, but
my favorite is when I walk into a gas station or a restaurant or somewhere, and it's like they'll literally turn my ears off. I can't hear anything from anybody. It's like just boop, the volume's gone. And then all of a sudden they'll turn the dial up really, really, really loud. And I'll hone into a specific part of whatever the music is playing. And it's like, oh my goodness. Okay. So there was a message in the lyrics that I was meant to hear just that little bit, just now. Yeah, they are always. I I had something very interesting happen. I love to do this too, because I'll ask, hey, I feel this is what I'm seeing, but I want you guys to confirm. And if I get confirmation that this is what I'm seeing, then I know it's divine truth. I can trust and believe what my intuition's telling me. And lo and behold, it never fails. It's like people will show up with screenshots with answers to my question just randomly.
Wow.
It's like it just comes out of nowhere.
That's beautiful.
So they're there. They're always talking.
Yeah.
Always. And
it's definitely made the journey more enjoyable and exciting. I'll even say, like, I'm a hermit. But I'll always say I'm never alone. I really don't believe in the concept that I'm alone. I feel like I'm in constant communication with angels. Having Gemini as my sun sign, like, it's rare for me to actually focus and just like meditate, which is something that I'm going to experiment with just to see, how much to align better. But it's common for me to just constantly, like, just like a child, just yak and talk. And I realized that, I'm not just doing that. I'm literally communicating with angelic beings, and I've had to get used to weird sensations, like feeling different. It's like my body will respond and laugh, but I'm not laughing my own laugh. It's kind of, and I'm learning to kind of like be aware of more of these sensations.
Yeah, I'm not good at meditating at all. I have a very high frequency energy. So when I stop and I pause, I pass out. So, yeah. So I have found that when I want to meditate, if I turn the music up, dance, and just move, that it flows that meditative state a lot easier. But that also just goes with me being a very high, like I'm always moving, moving.
I feel you on that. That's awesome.
Yeah. I had my Akashic records read, and it was a pretty amazing experience. The lady was like, before we get started, if you want to sit in the floor, just know it's there. And I was like, no, I'll just sit on the couch. I'll be fine. It wasn't 15 minutes later. I was in the floor rocking. And she's like, well, I'm glad that you've made it to the floor. I'm like, well, I needed to be able to ground and just move the energy.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So play with it. Play with with the meditation, play with, your energy, what works. Me sitting still, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I feel you.
Because then my mind starts going faster.
Right.
I'm not able to get it quiet, but I can get into a meditative state if I'm washing dishes, folding the laundry, or just cleaning the house, dancing, taking a shower.
State. I like how you said it, to get in that state. Okay. All right.
Yeah, because that's all you're doing is just turning your mind off and allowing for the energy to flow.
Okay. Gotcha.
And usually mundane projects, you don't need to think about. So it's like you can just turn it off. And I love singing and getting into a meditative state that way, because you're then using your voice, breath work, and you're moving the energy even more.
Yeah, that's true.
It reminds me of the, Indian tribal dances.
Right. Okay. I'm definitely looking more into breathing techniques and breath control.
Yeah, that's something I need to work on.
Yeah, you and me both.
For sure.
That I'm learning is spirituality.
Yes.
The way of the breath.
Yes, 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 absolutely. I have actually recently connected with a divine feminine that's going to start offering workshops.
Nice.
Yeah, so if it's something that you want to like, and she had told me that she's going to keep it pretty, cost effective. So, like $10, something like that, to come in, and it's going to be set up on Zoom. So anybody around the globe can join in. You just come in, she goes through, she offers the breathwork techniques, she shows you how to do them. And yeah, she just finished her classes, which, I mean, I'm going to start doing it with her. I think it'll be good because I will hold my breath versus breathing. So
Like retaining it or okay.
I just stop the flow.
Right. Interesting.
Especially if I get into a situation where I should be focused on my breath work, I'm stopping that flow of air, which we need.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking now how that could be a meditative state of its own. You could be hyper focused holding your breath.
I discovered that I did this riding roller coasters.
Okay.
Yeah. And so to keep me breathing, I actually started screaming. I wouldn't scream. I wouldn't nothing. It'd just be like, well, I almost passed out a couple of times. Actually, I think I did pass out once. And I was like, well, okay, I'm probably passing out because I'm not breathing. I'm holding my breath. So, yeah, screaming helps.
I think that's probably really a good release too.
Well, I mean, oxygen is going to, start repairing anything that's in the body to start creating healing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
To be able to, move whatever you need to move to any part of your body. It's key along with water.
True that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
So what do you see coming up in anything else? Do you see anything else coming up? Do you feel there's anything else that we should be looking out for?
Well, I feel like this Virgo season, or the rest of September, is bringing us a huge twist. Maybe the most major twist we've had in the past few years, in a way maybe perhaps that reveals information and data that takes into account the past couple of years of facts that have been blatantly censored, but really by this point kind of just definitively proves a lot of what was censored and being said in 2020. And I didn't nearly expect this to happen already, but we're already seeing reversals of protocols, mandates. I don't even want to make it just about the virus or anything, but yeah. So we're 6 months away from the beginning of the end of the world, which I'm very excited about. But to answer your question, I think the major focus is really gonna be and should be on the entire Saturn and Pisces transit. Everything imaginable is not only happening because we have to think that it is a transit that hasn't happened since 30 years. And its connection with Neptune is 156 years in the making. Um, I can only imagine how you'll experience that having your sun in Pisces. You'll have like the full awareness of everything that's ending and completing. Yeah. So
I am very excited to have Saturn off my moon, squaring
yeah.
the nodes.
That too. Wow. That's very intense.
Yeah, because my moon's at 22 degrees right now. Saturn is now at 21.
Okay.
Yes, yes, that has been probably, well, besides Pluto blowing my Venus up for the last 4 years.
And Uranus is coming close to square, at least next year for sure.
Mhm.
That'll be yeah.
Yeah, I will be very, like, in 6 months, I feel like I'm finally going to be able to breathe. Okay, keep on track, stay focused. Depression has probably been one of the hardest aspects with having the moon on, or having Saturn on my moon. Like, I've really had to be very, okay, I feel myself getting depressed. Am I really depressed? No. Is this probably just this transit? Yes. Keep your mind straight. Let's not go into the dark places. Okay, it's vital. You got to stay in the light. You got to stay in the light. You cannot give up right now because it feels so heavy and dark.
You just described my whole life, because I have that natally in Capricorn, and there's always that temptation to give in to that like negative, cynical, like, no, it's not, like, it doesn't have to be like this. And at this stage, it's kind of fun now because I've lived with it for so long. It's like a power now. But with Pluto that's been there, it's been super intense, like movie levels. I kind of like put a mask on it and play with it, but it also helps me feel, to me, I feel like I'm feeling what the collective is feeling, and what I will see many different faces say in their own way, but it's like what everyone wants to say but isn't saying or says. It's very dark, but it's also very powerful.
Yeah, and I kind of see Pluto that way, because Pluto has been sitting right on top of my Venus at 26 degrees.
Wow. Yeah.
For a hot minute. And, Pluto, yeah, it is the ruler of the underworld, but it's also our subconscious. It's things that we can't see.
Yeah, that's true. I'm totally unconscious too. Which could be spooky.
It can be. But once you see it and you're aware of it, it's a very strong superpower.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, and being able to telepathically communicate with people, being able to pick up on events that are coming, being able to see things before they happen. Pluto is really, really, really powerful for that.
Nice.
Not gonna lie, it took me a little bit to get comfortable working with the energy, because I'm like, oh, it has such a bad stigma, I feel.
Just like Scorpio. Yeah. Taboo.
Yeah.
People feel what they don't understand.
When it comes to psychic gifts, I feel like Pluto's probably one of the strongest ones.
I agree. Yeah. I would say Pluto's one of the strongest, Neptune's the most magical, and Saturn might be the most powerful.
That would make sense with the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have to keep calling in the rain. Making it rain.
Yeah, I now will see it as good omens for good things to come.
Absolutely. I was quite shocked to see, speaking of rain, I was quite shocked to see how low Hoover Dam was.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Like, you can see the water line of where it typically is, and it's like way below that. Yeah, and I don't know, I've not dug into the dams enough. I know the dams are there to create energy, but how much energy are we really creating from the dams? I feel the dams are there to block the flow of water, the natural flow of water, which can create things like this. So I'm not real sure, like I'd have to research the land, research the dams, and actually trace that back to find out what other dams are feeding into that area. But I was very shocked, very surprised. Have you ever been down there?
Just once, and that was just because I was near there, but I haven't really like looked at it, like checked it out.
Well, you know, they have some very interesting statues that almost look like angels, but not like positive angels.
Oh, like gargoyles.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes, it's interesting to see. You know, you can definitely tell that there's a lot of symbolism. There's a lot of,
Yeah.
you know, you get my drift.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely revealing itself more than ever.
Mhm.
Yeah. I wish. Wait, what were you gonna say?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I would really love to talk more. I wish I didn't have to cut this short a bit.
No, you're good. You're good. I have another appointment coming up too, so you are perfect. This has been fun.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoy this. I'd definitely love to invite you on my channel too and do a peace talk.
Yeah, I'd love to. Let's do it. You let me know when you're available and we'll make it happen.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a fun conversation.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Thank you so much for being with me today and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom. I am so grateful to have you as a mentor, as a guide. Your magical moon messages have definitely made stepping into this role, this process, all of that a little easier. Because everything that you talk about, I'm like, holy smokes, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing what he's talking about. He's right on the money. Okay, hone in on these skills. Let's fine tune them and perfect them. And it's been truly magical to see it all play out, especially over the last year and a half. It has been pretty sweet. So thank you.
I appreciate you.
Yes, yes. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll connect soon. All right. Bye.